Hey everybody, it's Jay.
What's good, everybody? And I'm Zell.
And this is M3, where we talk about everything marriage, motivation, money, and more. If you are new here, hey y'all. If you are returning, thank you so much.
Welcome back. Please like, subscribe, and share.
And comment.
Please
if y'all
do
got
so.
something to say, leave it in the comments. We would love to hear it.
Some good topics for today.
We got some good topics today.
What we got starting off with?
First, you got to give the disclaimer.
Oh, yeah. So, look, we are not marriage counselors.
Now, I'm not a singer.
Therapists.
Nope.
Psychiatrists, psychologists, none of the above, right? We do not hold any licenses doing any type of therapy, counseling sessions, none of that. We're just a couple that are sharing our experiences with you in order to help you get through life. You can take what we use, apply it to your lives, or not. It's up to you.
Or feed it to the dogs. That's what he usually say.
You can feed it to the dogs.
I say the dog don't want it, but you know.
The dog might want it. So you can do whatever you want to do with what we share with you. And we're going to keep this thing rolling. We ready?
Our first topic is couples therapy. Before and after, or before and during marriage, of course, couples therapy. What do you think about that?
I think counseling is necessary. We could all use counseling.
We can.
Whether you're married, whether you're single, whether you're just coming out of a relationship, looking to get into a relationship, we have baggage that we've collected over the years from our families, from previous relationships to growing up, and you name it. We just got baggage, and you got to unload and unpack that baggage and find out what tools can be necessary in order to move forward, and also to process things that have already happened. So I definitely think that marriage counseling is necessary, both before, during, and even if it doesn't work out after. People go through divorces and they don't go through counseling. It's like you probably need to process what you've been through, right? Because a lot of people equate divorce, from what I've understood, as a death. Like sometimes it feels like a death has occurred and now this is your life after that event. I haven't been privy to that because, this is the only wife I've been shackled to. So, just my wife right here. So shackled, yeah. So, but we had marriage counseling. What did you think about our marriage counseling?
I think that marriage counseling before marriage is a must, because you are bringing in two separate people. Even if y'all live together prior to you getting married, you are still bringing two individual people to become one, and you both have different parenting styles, different styles of how you live, different childhood trauma that could affect something during your stages of marriage, because marriage has stages. It ain't just you get married and that's it. There's stages to this thing, and that ain't the 7-year itch, the 10-year whatever, the 20-year hallelujah, the 50-year thank you God. It ain't that. It ain't them stages. Them is stages too, but it's a whole bunch of other stages in there. I don't know why you laughing.
People grow, right?
Absolutely.
And they change.
And if you don't grow, it's something wrong with you, and that's a therapy session in itself.
Absolutely. We all grow. I learned that every 5 years you're a different person.
And you should be.
You should evolve.
Somebody say you've changed, you be like, girl, I know. Boy, I know. I should change. And the fact that you haven't is very disappointing.
Yeah, we should constantly grow and change and evolve. Change is the only constant in life. I said something, right? Okay. So
so I definitely 100% encourage counseling.
Yeah. Even during marriage, before marriage and during marriage.
Definitely during marriage.
During marriage, absolutely.
You need counseling.
You
do. To deal with each other growing stages.
Absolutely.
Because you are growing every so many years. So you got to deal with your growing stages in life. What direction? Are y'all moving in the same direction? Where is the disconnect that happens? Because it happens.
It does.
I mean, let's be honest about it.
Yeah.
It definitely happens. So
tell the truth and shame the devil.
I try to shame him every day, because that monkey right there. Woo!
We both in agreement on that.
Absolutely.
Tell us what you think. I know people that said they don't believe in counseling because they don't want nobody in their business.
That's
People say
disappointing.
that. People say that.
That's disappointing.
They're like, we'll figure it out. See how that works out for you.
That's disappointing. I think that talking to somebody outside of you two should talk. But talking to somebody that has no connection, no relationship, what's the word I'm looking for? No something.
Biased opinion
to what you guys have going on. I think that's a good thing, especially if you have a good counselor. Now, it depends on if you have a good counselor, because you can go in there and be like, I already know he getting on my nerves, so this counselor is going to agree with me.
And we also have to be mindful that we're not always right. Not us. I mean, clearly we're not always right, but like when you go into a counselor, like your perspective and your view is not the only right answer. Like there could be something, that's tainting your view and your opinion of whatever the situation is, right? So you're not always right. She's not always right. Y'all got to compromise and meet in the middle. That was one of the greatest things that I learned from our premarital counseling, that it was shared that you can't always be right.
Cannot always be right.
And she can't always be right. Like you have to give. You have to meet in the middle, right? Do you want to be right or do you want to be happy?
That's our motto.
What are we doing here? Like you can't always be right. Like no, I'm right. She's wrong, or she's right and I'm wrong. Like somewhere in the middle. It's like his, hers, and the truth. Somewhere in the middle, right? So it's three sides to every story. Sometimes it's more.
The last takeaway I want to give for this topic before we move on to the next one: you cannot go to 1 or 2 counseling sessions and think y'all gravy. Like that's it. We done figured it out. That ain't how it works. For you to unpack that thing, you got to unpack that thing. And 1 or 2 is not what it is.
True. You need tools in order to move forward in different phases and different stages of your life. And when you go through things and you leave one job and go to another job, or you get let go from a job, or you feel that job is no longer for you, or kids come into play, and things change when kids come into play. The dynamics of your relationship is not just the husband and wife. It's the husband and wife and this little bundle of joy that starts out crying all the time and then gets opinions, and then they a full-grown
person.
Yeah.
What's our next topic?
Do you think men and women value money differently? What do you think?
Yes.
How so?
I do. I think that some women, I won't say all women, some women are more focused on, like, let's get a budget down, let's do this, more of structure. Some women. I don't believe in budget, so I ain't that budget type of person, because, I'm growing, I'm learning, budgets are a good thing. I'm going to figure it out, because budgets are a good thing. But as far as like managing your money wise, I believe that men are more like, let's let it rain on everything. Hey, I'm buying drinks for everybody. Knowing you just got paid and paid your bills and you ain't got money to buy drinks for everybody. And then the next day you like, I brought drinks for everybody? So I'm just saying, sometimes.
I did that.
Sometimes, in some situations, women are better. They think about money different.
I did that. I did that one time. I did that one time though. I will go around all the time. I did it twice. I probably don't remember it now. Clearly, I don't remember that. I was like, don't let me do that again.
Speaking of not letting them do so what are your thoughts? Do you think men and women value money differently?
I actually respectfully disagree.
Oh.
I respectfully disagree.
Okay.
I think that it has nothing to do with men and women valuing money. I think it depends on the individual.
I will agree with you there.
I think that there are a lot of men that are, it depends on how they were raised, how they their understanding, their financial IQ, how they understand money and how to budget money and the spending of money. Because after you've paid your bills, you have maybe play money. So then maybe that play money, you buy a round of drinks for everybody or not. Maybe you should save that money. That's the better option, is to save that money instead of buying rounds of drinks for everybody. But we also mature, right?
Absolutely.
So
the rules can absolutely change as you mature.
Absolutely. So let's say a person is frivolous with money when they're younger. And then they get older and they're like, I'm more thoughtful and more mindful of where the money goes, what accounts, what buckets to put the money in, right? So one bucket is for paying bills. Another bucket could be for saving for a vacation. Another bucket could be for the kids' expenses. Another bucket could be for date night, right?
Whatever.
For fun money, and then another bucket could be for, I'm going to just do something for me, right?
It's like budgeting.
Absolutely. So you have to figure out, but you might not be privy to that when you're young. Because you're like, I'm young and I got money, like, make it rain,
Not when you're young, because you like
clapping in the club. Clapping in the club. You do that when you're young, right? You're having too much fun. You're wilding out. Maybe you never had that much money before. Because when you're a kid, you get an allowance. You only get so much money. You get grown. You get your own money. You like, what do I do with this money? Trick it off, right? And all you have to show for it is some colorful stories of the good time that you had. You like, man, you won't believe what we did last night. Or you don't even remember what happened last night. Or you buy rounds of drinks and you be like, I bought rounds of drinks for everybody. Don't let me do that again.
You're like, I'm missing $200 out of my account.
What
happened to it?
And you had 2 drinks. You missing $200 and you had 2 drinks. What happened to the rest?
What happened to it?
Maybe you had 3 drinks. Maybe it was that 3rd drink that pushed you over. Something that women can get away with. They can go out broke. Get in for free. Get drinks for free.
Not broke. You have money.
They can go in broke.
But you don't have to pay for nothing.
They don't go in with the intention.
Right. You don't go in with the intention. I never went out with an intention to spend any of my money.
While men go out
I want to get in the clubs for free,
yes,
which we did. We want drinks for free, which we had.
I mean, unless you're on a VIP list, you get on the list and then you can get in. But then when you get in, they want you to buy some bottles. They want you to pop bottles when you get inside.
Yeah, now they got this 2-drink minimum. What is that?
They've had that for a long time.
Oh, I wouldn't know. I ain't never paid for that. I don't know.
I think we're off topic.
Off topic. It was do men and women.
My opinion, it does not depend on whether it's a man or a woman. It just depends on your financial IQ and how you appreciate money and how you respectfully either spend the money or respectfully save the money. So I respectfully disagree, but that's just my opinion. It's my opinion. Men, women, it just depends.
Yeah, it depends on. I said that though. It depends on the man or the woman, but
I don't think so, because it just depends on who's more responsible with money, and it could be either or.
Because some women ain't responsible.
Because some people, you can't have 2 people spending all the money. Then y'all gonna be homeless. You're gonna be like, I'm gonna go live with my mama.
Or y'all gonna be squatters.
Squatters living with their mama or somebody. Like, hey sis, can I come move in with you?
And that's okay if that's your business.
Yeah. Listen, don't spend all your money.
Well, don't spend all your money. Definitely don't spend all your money.
Don't spend all your money.
At least save something. Put that money
for a rainy day. Rainy day fund.
Put that money in a Crown Royal bag and put it in your underwear drawer at the bottom. That way you won't want to touch it. You will actually forget about it until you sorting out that underwear drawer and you be like, "What? Got a Crown Royal bag full of money?"
How you forget about it?
You can forget stuff if you put it in the bottom of your drawer. You ain't looking there all the time. Sometimes you can forget about stuff. I used to forget about stuff all the time.
What else we got?
The biggest misconception about marriage. I can tell you my biggest misconception. What people think when they talk to me. They be like, "Oh, y'all have a perfect marriage, or y'all don't argue."
Yeah, air quotes.
I mean, well, we ain't supposed to argue in front of company. Your company. We ain't supposed to argue in front of you. What? What the world? We don't ever argue. That would be a lie and go to the pits of hell if we said that. That ain't true. But we don't argue in front of company. Cause y'all company. We ain't gonna argue in front of y'all.
You can respectfully just disagree and not have to argue without raising your voices.
We don't argue in front of company. We don't have no perfect marriage. There's no such thing.
You heard somebody say that?
Mm-hmm. People say that all the time.
To who?
To me.
I've never heard anybody say that to me.
I think that's the biggest misconception people have. Misconception people have about us. We ain't perfect, and we do argue. Now, we ain't out in the streets like our neighbors fighting out in the middle of the street when they have a disagreement.
They do that.
Because that ain't y'all business. Okay. What do you think the biggest misconception about marriage is? Any marriage, not just our marriage.
I don't. That's a good question. I think that people, in my opinion, I've heard a lot of people go into marriages with, with kind of like the perception that it's going to end. Like, yo, how long are you going to be married? Like, divorce is imminent. You look at the divorce rate. The divorce rate is probably like 50%, right? Somewhere around there. You can look it up.
Yeah,
it's probably like 50%. And then you have a lot of younger people that aren't interested in getting married. They don't believe in that institution of marriage. Mm-hmm. They're like, we just kicking it. This, this my old lady. They probably don't say that, but this is my partner. Right? So people don't believe in the institution of marriage nowadays. I know it's, our family, before we get married, our family went a long time before there was like a wedding. Mm-hmm. People just lived together. Mm-hmm. They just, this my girl, this my guy. They just live together. This my old man. That's what she said, right? This my old man.
My old lady.
This my old lady. Right? And they just shacking. Oh, that's what the old people used to say. They just shacking. And they're not interested in getting married. So I think one of the misconceptions is that divorce is imminent. And yeah, you got to work at marriage, man. Like, the thing ain't easy. You have to work at it. It's something that you can't it's not about the wedding. It's about the marriage, right? Mm-hmm. So people spend a lot of time and they're really well prepared, and they, put all this thought into the wedding day. Like, oh my God, my wedding day has to be perfect. My wedding day should be this, should be that. The guest list.
In order.
Man, they look at the guest list, the seat arrangements, who's going to sit at what table.
Stressful.
If they put all of that thought into the actual marriage. Then your marriage will be better. It will be in a better place. Because you got to use that same energy. Keep up that same energy from the wedding day into the marriage. And you could work things out.
And I think when people get married too, and they hit that rough patch in their marriage, they be like, I'm out.
Yeah.
I'm out.
You got to work through that thing. You got to work through it. You do. You just have to work through it, because it's not going to always be rainbows, sunshines, and kittens. Sometimes that thing get dark, and you be like, what are we doing here, man? And y'all got to work through it. The OJ said, me and my woman, we cried together. They did. Hey, listen, Eddie Levert, last night, me and my woman, we cried together.
See, here we go.
Said we
off topic.
Cried.
We off topic. Cried. So this is gonna
together
tinker into our next question topic that we have. See, it's rolling over.
What you got?
Or rolling over. What are some of the hardest years in marriage.
Ooh, that's a good segue.
It is. I got that.
She on it today.
What the hardest years in marriage, I think, are the first 5 years. No lie. The first 5 years, because you getting to know each other, even I don't care if people say we live together. Even if you live together before the first 5 years, whew, baby, you done went on an Iron Eagle backwards. And if you know, you know. The Iron Eagle backwards. Most terrifying ride at Six Flags. You get me?
Do they call it the Iron Eagle or just called the Eagle?
Wasn't the Iron Eagle? It went backwards.
It did go backwards. I think it was just the Eagle.
Y'all know what I'm talking about. I think it was the Iron Eagle. See, that's just how. If it ain't the Iron Eagle backwards, that's just how terrifying it was. I can't even remember the name correctly. You hear me? The first 5, baby. Don't think it's no roller coaster. Don't think it's the merry-go-round. You just get on one of them horses or in one of them buckets and just la 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 la. Nope, it ain't that. It ain't that.
You just compared it to a roller coaster, though.
No, the Iron Eagle backwards.
That's roller coaster.
That is a roller coaster.
But
I'm saying, if you think it's gonna be a merry-go-round,
it's not that one.
It ain't that one.
It's the Iron Eagle. It's
backwards.
The Eagle backwards.
Whichever one you want to call it. The Iron Eagle. The Iron.
I think it was the Iron Wolf.
Did it go backwards too?
I think you stood up on that one.
Oh, you don't want to do that.
Backwards.
Baby, if you had to stand up on one.
You got to stand up and you shackled in like you harnessed in and you roll backwards. Yeah.
You went backwards on that one too?
I think so. I think sometimes it would go backwards.
Let me tell y'all something.
If
you stood up on a ride that went backwards, that's like the first 5 years of marriage. If you got on the Iron Eagle or the Iron Wolf or the Iron whoever that went backwards, that's the first 5 years of marriage. Okay. What are your thoughts?
What I think? Yeah, probably the first few years. I don't know if it's the first 5 for me. I don't know if I can say the first 5, but I can say the first few years of marriage, because you kind of getting to know each other. You're trying to, because really you gotta compromise. The word for the day with marriage, in my opinion, is compromise. You have got to compromise. You have got to be willing to give.
You do.
You have to.
Absolutely. You
can't be always right. It can't be your way all the time. You can't always say, I'm right. Is this way or it's the highway. It's either my way or the highway. It can't be like that. It can't. So I think those first few years, just really getting to know your significant other, your husband, your wife, I think that's probably the most difficult time, just understanding, what you like, what you don't like,
attitude.
How do you resolve conflict? How do you resolve, disagreements? Like, you gotta, all of that. And again, you grabbing and bringing baggage from previous relationships
from
and childhood, from things that you saw your parents do. Like, for real, you see your parents
interact with each other.
That's how, you're like, oh, that's how adults interact with each other. Sometimes it's healthy, sometimes it's not healthy.
Sometimes it is not at all.
Sometimes it's toxic. Sometimes you gotta throw away the bad and hold on to what's good. So I think those first few years are definitely important. But I think that after you've matured a bit and things change in your relationships, it's another period that you have to get to know that person again. Because you've gone through some things together, and even individually, right? You go through things. So something can happen to us as a couple, and we'll process it differently.
Absolutely.
Right? So depending on how we process things, that changes, people and how they feel about certain things and how they, are able, and being able to depend on each other, right? So, like, let's say a close death happens in the family, right? I gotta say, if it happened to my family, I gotta know that I can depend on her. That I can lean on her, and that she's there for me, with no ulterior motive, with nothing other than seeking my best interest. Is in her heart and in her mind, like, I got to make sure he okay, right?
Mm-hmm.
And know when to back off and know when to say, okay, how can I help, right? And then vice versa. A close death happens in her family. She got to know that I got her back, that she can lean on me, that she can just be like, I just need to be, and I could just let her be. Or if she wants to talk, we could talk.
And not getting in your feelings about it. Like, yeah. You
have to be able to do those things. And if not, what are we doing?
For real.
You're not gonna make it. You're not gonna make it. It's not gonna happen. So you just gotta be willing to compromise, be there for each other, support each other, hold each other up, uplift each other. The hardest years. Sometimes all the years are the hardest years, but there's other times when it's like, man, we've been married for over 10 years now, and it doesn't feel like it, does it?
It doesn't feel like it. It doesn't feel like over. It doesn't feel like over 10 years.
But over the years, we've seen so many of our loved ones come and go. People that have been in our lives. They passed on, and now, as they say, they're with the ancestors. But we were grateful for their time, for the time they spent with us, and we were real grateful that they were at our wedding. A lot of those people came to our wedding, so we could look at wedding footage and see people that are no longer here with us. And it brings us joy that we were all together at the same place at the same time, having a great time. And it was for a joyous occasion. So it was, it's cool. It's cool looking back at those memories. So for anybody out there thinking about getting married, she was all about a photographer. I was all about a videographer.
He was.
We did both.
Into video at all, but we did both. And I'm thankful we did both because we tried to look at our wedding video every year on our anniversary. Did we do it this year? I think we looked at it either before our anniversary or after, because
it was sometime around.
Yeah, it was sometime around, but we didn't do it on the day. Yeah. So we try. We try our best.
And our kids get a kick out of it.
They do.
They think it's funny. And again, we had Shakira, Anthony, Lonnie, they were all in the wedding, and Joel wasn't born yet, so he gets to look at it like fresh faces on his mama and his daddy. It's cool. It's a good thing. So if you think about getting married, get a videographer to record those moments. Also get a photographer to hold those precious moments. You can blow up the pictures and all that good stuff. It would be cool if we had a wedding picture behind us.
Yeah, over on the other side.
Yeah,
but
Yes.
Sure. So if you're looking to get married, some recap. Therapy. Please get marriage counseling before you get married. Do men and women think of things differently? We don't think, he doesn't think that it's a man or a woman thing. So, it's up for debate.
Absolutely.
Leave it in the comments.
Absolutely.
Oh, wait, before we go, we have to talk about this that get everybody underway in a bunch. Do you think the mom or the wife should ride in the front seat?
That's a good question.
That's a good question. Who rides in the front seat? The mama or the wife? Or the mama? Or the other person mama? Or the husband? Yeah.
So depending on who's driving. So if you're driving, does your mama ride in the front or do I ride in the front?
Or if you're driving, do your mama ride in the front and I ride in the back? Who rides in the front seat? I think for me, it is not a big issue. I didn't even know it was a big issue until I seen it on Twitter. But I didn't know that was like a topic of conversation. But for me, because I was raised, I don't want to say with old parents, but I was raised by my grandmama and my great grandmama pretty much. It's about a respect thing for me. Like, I'm not going to sit in the front while an elder sits in the back unless they like dead on insisting. But that's just how we were raised. Like, yes, ma'am, no, ma'am. The elders always sit in the front. Because to me, with the elder, I'm still a child. Even though I'm grown, you still my elder. So for me, it's never been a big issue. It's never nothing that we ever had to talk about or discuss. Like, how you gonna let your mama sit in the front seat? That ain't never been a topic for us. Because I'm like, she my elder, period. So she gonna sit in the front seat. Now sometimes when she was in a youth, she'd be like, "No, you gets in the front seat." And then she'd be like, and then we'd stand outside and debate, because I don't want to say argue, because you don't supposed to argue with no old folk. I mean, with your elders. So we would debate back and forth, and then I would end up sitting in the front seat, because you can't win with seasoned people.
Seasoned elders.
You can't win with them. Now you're either gonna get popped, so your debate gotta be, because then you're gonna get popped. So it was never an issue for us.
No, I'll volunteer to sit in the back. I like sitting presidential style anyway. Like, let me sit in the back. Rock Michelle sit in the back. Let the driver drive. I like sitting in the back, man. I want to drive it now. I sit in the back all the time. Pull the curtains. And I'll sit in the back. It don't matter to me.
With curtains.
I know you gotta get a fancy car with curtains. Are you kidding me? Get a real fancy car with some curtains. Man,
curtains in our time is tinted windows.
But some fancy cars have curtains, though.
They have shades.
They have curtains too.
We don't need that kind of fancy.
Curtain. That's fancy. That's a fancy. I'd rather sit in the back. So
then,
we've never had.
You know what come with curtains in the car? If you ain't dusting all the time, spiders. Don't nobody want those spiders. That's okay. And whatever them other little window bugs called, you get them little black window bugs. Don't nobody want that with no curtains in the car.
Imagine how fancy your car has to be with curtains.
I don't want to be that fancy.
I want to sit in the back with a driver sitting fancy in the back.
It's called tinted windows.
Look, that's it. That's it for the day. That's it for the day.
That concludes our shenanigans for today. I hope you guys enjoyed it.
Closing remarks.
Count your blessings and never your disappointments.
I'm gonna keep it 100, as I always do. First of all, thank you all for your time. Thank you for your energy. Thank you for your effort. Thank you for watching us. Also, stay active, stay focused, stay motivated. And even if you can't stay motivated, stay consistent and stay safe. We love you. M3.